Hope you're having a great day. So today's topic, we're going to talk about rate sheet. What's a rate sheet? Why is it important to you? And why are we talking about rate sheets? I don't get asked a lot of questions on rate sheets. However, I did get asked about it over this weekend. And if you search the internet, YouTube, there's not a lot of quality content on a rate sheet. So today we're going to spend some time putting some quality content on the internet when it comes to rate sheet. So what is a rate sheet? Well, let's talk about it in an auto loan perspective, since I'm in my truck. So rate sheets are what the banks use to determine how much they're willing to lend you and at what percentage, right? How good is the deal for them? Are you high risk? Are you low risk? Also, people think that, listen, if I have a high credit score, I'm gonna get a good rate on my auto loan. If I have a low credit score, I'm either gonna get a bad rate or I can't get approved for the loan. All of those are actually facts. That is true. If you have a high score, you're gonna get a good rate, right? Now, when it comes to a rate sheet, and this is lender specific, let's look at a rate sheet, and this is just an example so you guys understand what I'm talking about. Let's look at a rate sheet like an Excel sheet, right? You guys all know what an Excel sheet is. So, there's quadrants where you fall into, right? So let's hypothetically state that, all right, on the top of an Excel sheet are your credit scores. Are you 500 to 550? Do you fall into that quadrant? Are you 551 to 600? Are you 601 to 650? Those are the scores on top. Then we're gonna come down on the Excel sheet, and then it's gonna have rates across, right? Across those. So let's say you're at a 600 credit score. You fall under this rate, right? 7.9, 10.9, 20.9, whatever the rate may be, right? It's lender specific, all depend on the lenders. Now, besides your credit score, there are also factors that people don't realize that are calculated when lenders are determining if they want to lend you money. Some factors are you putting a down payment on the car? Relatively, if you put a down payment, the loan to value is going to be better, right? Or do you have a trade-in? Are you trading in a car with negative equity? Which means, are you trading in a car to create more debt than you can afford? Now, post-COVID, with all the issues that we're having with supply chains, used cars are very valuable. They're holding their value, right? Before COVID, a car you buy, as soon as you drive it off the lot, we all know that it drops in value, which is what creates negative equity, okay? But post-COVID, cars are worth, they're holding their values. People are getting top dollars for them. So if you're gonna trade a car in, you may come out winning on top, right? Which is good for your deal because you're not carrying negative equity. So if you're not carrying negative equity, you don't fall under that category of that rate, right? Because now they gotta give you more money than you can afford, or you qualify for it, and at a higher rate. So the rate sheet, lenders use this to determine how much they want to lend you and at what rate they want to lend you to. Obviously, if you have a 750 credit score and you're trading in a car and you're not going in negative equity and you're putting a down payment, that's a good deal for the lender because the lender has skin in the game. That means, for example, let's say you're buying a car for $20,000, right? And let's say you put $10,000 down. The loan to value is $10,000, right? So you buy $20,000, you put $10,000. Now the bank's gonna give you a $10,000 loan. That's a good deal for the bank. And considering all the criteria plus your credit score, having a high credit score, they're gonna want to lend you that $10,000 probably at a 2.5% or 3% interest rate. I'm just making this number up for the conversation, right? So that's a good deal for them because if for some reason, and let's hope it doesn't happen, for some reason you can't afford to make this monthly payment, or you lose your job, or whatever the reason may be, they may have to repossess the car if you can't continue to make the payments. If they repossess the car, that means they can auction the car and still recoup their $10,000, which means they're not going to be at a negative loss. That's a good deal for them, so they're going to want to give you their loan at a lower interest rate. Now, where can you find a rate sheet? You can Google it. Most lenders keep that very confidential because that's their competitions, how they compete with other banks, right? So most banks are going to keep it confidential. They're not going to let you see it, but you can Google a rate sheet and you'll come across some examples online. But think of it as an Excel sheet, right? The top quadrant, the bottom quadrant. And for auto loan perspective, if you're gonna go into an auto loan, you want to make sure you fall into the highest tier quadrant. What that means, you have a good credit score, very good credit score, in the 750, 760, what we call the FICO flyers, the overachievers, right? The high scores. You want to make sure you have a score that's high. If you're gonna trade a car in, now may be the best time to trade it in, because banks are giving you top dollars for it. So now you're going to go into your new loan with a positive start, not a negative, no negative equity carrying over to the new loan. Again, once you start carrying over negative equity, you become high risk, right? This is why in our office we tell clients, don't get into negative equity. If you're going to trade your car in and you need another car and you're going to be out of your negative equity is $3,000, pay the $3,000 out of pocket. Do not take the $3,000 over into your new loan, because you become high risk. If you have any questions about rate sheets, about this video, drop a comment below and I'll definitely try to answer it for you. Talk to you soon. Have a good day.